Last time, we arrived at the end of the Z portion of the story, with a strange conclusion to the Buu saga, as Buu actually survived, going into space with Cell, now being purely good. What's going to come as a result of this? We'll be seeing all that and more in this part 4 of What If Cell Survived. Cell and Buu stay in space for a long while, doing exactly as Cell planned, training, and exploring the universe as well. He will return to Earth eventually. When that is, he doesn't know. But someday he will face Gohan again, and he will beat Gohan this time. He could train with Gohan, but he thinks it's more fun this way. Plus, this is more accepted. He doesn't necessarily think it's a great idea to be on Earth, especially because everyone remembers him as a terrifying threat. And most of the Z fighters don't even want him there anyways. But this is more interesting to him too. He doesn't know what Gohan's progress is like. It's more fun to have that as a challenge, trying to figure out what Gohan's new abilities are. And this way, Gohan doesn't know his abilities either. Years and years pass. Nothing big happens on Earth, besides the obvious of Gohan and Videl getting married. Since he still did meet her as the Great Saiyan Man, and she eventually did learn that he was the one who actually defeated Cell. And also learning that Cell is still alive, which is kind of terrifying. But he doesn't seem to be a threat, and Gohan says he doesn't know when Cell will return. One day though, Gohan gets a message from King Kai. And he hears Goku too, glad to talk to both of them. And King Kai says that he wished he spoke under better circumstances. He's calling because there's an issue. Beerus came to visit them on his planet, and he's warning Earth now of Beerus' presence. Gohan of course doesn't even know who Beerus is, but he's caught up to speed. At first Gohan was worried that it would be Cell, but it's actually a god of destruction? That does sound terrifying. But King Kai says that he can manage it. They just gotta make sure not to piss Beerus off at all. He's looking for something called a Super Saiyan God, and Gohan obviously has no clue of what that is. Goku even mentions Super Saiyan 3 wasn't enough to please him. He thinks Gohan's own Super Saiyan 3 might be able to do something, but he isn't entirely sure. And not long after this warning, Beerus does show up on the planet. This is still during Bulma's birthday party, and he's able to enjoy a lot of great food. And he's glad too because he sees a couple Saiyans around, specifically Vegeta and Gohan. Vegeta's terrified, but Gohan knows that they're not supposed to piss Beerus off. So he tells Vegeta they should just be straight up with him. Tell him about the fact that they don't even know what the Super Saiyan God is. And Vegeta's worried about how this is going to go out, but he doesn't know how else for Beerus to find out. Gohan greets Beerus, and Beerus is enjoying the food at the moment, so he's in a pretty good mood. And Gohan tells him that he heard about what Beerus was looking for from King Kai. And unfortunately, the Super Saiyan God doesn't exist, but he can at least show off his strength. He knows Beerus already fought Goku, but he's actually stronger than what Goku's at. And Beerus is intrigued to hear this. Alright, well, he'll at least fight Gohan. But if it's not impressive, he still expects Gohan to figure out something about the Super Saiyan God. Thankfully, he's not too agitated because he has all the food that he loves around him, and he actually does get to try pudding since Buu's not here right now. Gohan transforms into Super Saiyan 3, briefly fighting Beerus, but it doesn't really do much against him. And Beerus does comment that yeah, he does seem stronger than Goku, but it's not by a significant margin, and it's not enough to be a Super Saiyan God, not at all. But he reminds Gohan, now he should actually start looking for the Super Saiyan God, whoever it is or whatever it is. There's gotta be another way to find out, right? And before Gohan could even say anything, he then senses two other energies appear nearby, looking back to see Cell and Buu teleporting in. And Beerus looks over Gohan's shoulder. Who's this now? Everyone's a bit terrified to see Cell, especially because this is the first time he's actually been around anyone besides Vegeta, Gohan, or Piccolo. They don't really have a reaction to Majin Buu because he didn't really do anything, but everybody remembers Cell, especially people like Krillin and 18, or Mr. Satan who's actually terrified, but offers to step up to fight him again. They do know by now that Cell has been alive. Gohan, Vegeta, and Piccolo had to break that news a while ago, but this is the first time that they're actually seeing him in person. And a lot of them are really mad to see him here too, with Beerus and Whis a bit confused. Seems like there's some drama here that he's not involved in. Who is this guy? And Cell doesn't react to it at all. He knew that everyone would react like this too. So he gives Beerus a brief backstory, and also says that he came here because he sensed Gohan going Super Saiyan 3, fighting someone that Cell couldn't sense, and he wondered, was he fighting another android maybe? But it seems he was fighting one of these two, whom he can't sense. And then he learns about Beerus and Whis. Cell figures out that Beerus is looking for a strong opponent and offers to fight him. He'd love the opportunity to fight a god of destruction. And Beerus is a bit unsure, but decides, why not? The fact that he's some sort of genetically perfect android sounds interesting. He's part Saiyan, part Frieza, part Namekian, part a lot of things. But the result is pretty similar to the fight with Gohan. He commends Cell for his power, but says unfortunately he's not what Beerus is looking for. And Cell was going to actually have Buu fight with him, but Buu immediately got distracted by all the food around. But there's one last person to step up. It's actually Piccolo. He offers to face Beerus, but Beerus says he's seen enough. Besides, he was looking for a Saiyan anyways. He shouldn't have even really fought Cell, but he is part Saiyan after all, so he thought that maybe it would lead to something, but no. Piccolo thinks that Beerus may be underestimating his abilities, but he stays silent for now. He feels like he could give Beerus a good fight, but he is looking for a Super Saiyan God, and apparently it must be really powerful for him to not even fight anyone else. But Gohan's already figured out how to find out what the Super Saiyan God is. They're gonna ask Shenron. It is kind of a big deal after all, since Beerus is a god of destruction and they kinda need to please him. So they're able to summon Shenron, asking him about the ritual. And at first this seems like an issue. They only have 4 Saiyans here. Gohan, Vegeta, Goten, and Trunks. They wish that Goku were here, but even then, they'd be 1 Saiyan short. But Cell offers to join. He is genetically a Saiyan after all. Although they're not too sure how it'll work because Cell's not really a great guy. The ritual's not just calling for any Saiyan, it's calling for some sort of righteous Saiyan. But also they really have no other choice, and there's also the fact that they're not sure where Vegeta plays into this either. since he used to be pretty evil too. But even if all those 5 people work together, they're gonna need a 6th Saiyan, which of course leads to the reveal of Pan. So Videl's able to join in the ritual too. They don't think this is gonna work, but it's at least worth a shot. And they decide to channel their energy into Gohan since he is the strongest here, and the strongest Saiyan too. Beerus is very unsure about this. The ritual seems very shoddy, and they're doing it on a hybrid Saiyan. Would that even work? Well, worst case, they do have Vegeta here, so they can try it on him too. He is a pure Saiyan, and he actually is the only pure Saiyan here. And Vegeta feels kind of weird about this because he has to hold hands with Cell, the same guy that killed Trunks in cold blood and embarrassed him so long ago. He tells him to just get this over with. And much to everyone's surprise, the ritual actually does work. Gohan feels intense power flowing through him. As he ascends into the air, transforming into something completely different. This is the birth of the Super Saiyan God, Gohan. We'll gloss over Gohan and Beerus' fight because we obviously know what the result will be. Although I will say Gohan does have a better performance than Goku did because he is stronger by default. But that doesn't mean he's going to win against Beerus. It's still not enough. And Beerus is pleased to have the Super Saiyan God. And he's going to stick around for the rest of this party too. Wanted to try some more of Earth's food. What a great time to wake up. He found this new planet with some amazing food, and he found his newest rival. And there are some particularly interesting warriors on this planet as well. But amidst the festivities, Cell has a request for Gohan. He wants him to use that Super Saiyan God form again, and Gohan thinks it'll be tough to tap into it once more. But Cell says that's why he came here. He wanted to fight Gohan at his strongest, and he knows Super Saiyan God is his strongest form now. Gohan even offers just fighting in Super Saiyan 3, but Cell wants to see his full power. So briefly, the two fight. And Gohan's quickly able to see, Cell has grown a lot stronger than before. It's tough for him to judge because now he's far stronger than he was just a few moments ago. But he assumes if he never got the Super Saiyan God ritual done to him, Cell would have been able to give Gohan a very tough fight, maybe even winning there. He had gotten a better control in Super Saiyan 3, but even then, Cell might have beat him. Although now it doesn't really matter because every one of his forms is imbued with God Ki anyways. And Beerus is a bit intrigued too. He did fight Cell before, but looking at him again, this android guy seems pretty powerful, even without Godly Ki. Not to mention, as part Saiyan, he could probably possess that Godly Ki as a Super Saiyan God somehow, if they were to do the ritual on him or something else. He's not too sure though. And Cell tells Gohan he's done. He started growing immensely. It's actually thanks to Babidi. When he tapped into that Frieza and King Cold side of him, that awakened something dormant. Alongside the evil that was suppressed within Cell, his potential from those two alien mutants was locked away, and it actually came to the forefront, allowing Cell to tap into that. His training has been much more effective recently, although it's not to Frieza's exact level, so don't expect him to be like Black Frieza level right here. We need to be reasonable after all too, so I don't want to make him just completely overpowered. And Cell grows a lot stronger as he fights too, and his rapid growth has only really come on recently, and Gohan can see, Cell will catch up to him again, probably even surpassing him again. They have an interesting future in front of them, and Piccolo yells out to Gohan from below, asking him to fight too. And Gohan's a little confused about this. He knows Piccolo's powerful, but they've already seen the results against Cell. He doesn't actually say this out loud to Piccolo, but Piccolo can tell that he's underestimating him too. But he doesn't mind. He tells Gohan that's fair. Gohan hasn't seen his true power recently. What does he mean by that though? And Cell's intrigued to hear this as well. What's Piccolo been hiding? Piccolo said he's kept this hidden away. He knew if he powered up like this, it would have definitely attracted Cell, and he didn't know if he was ready to face Cell just yet. And this is also why he offered to fight Beerus, thinking that maybe his power would be able to impress Beerus, but he's already got a Super Saiyan God. He tells Gohan just like before, he was still worried about Cell, so he asked Dende if he can unlock his potential, kinda like what Guru was able to do on Namek. Dende wasn't able to do that, but he was able to upgrade Shenron to actually do so. It was a little bit tough, but it ended up working. He was able to summon Shenron one day, having the dragon unlock his power. He's kept this a secret, only vaguely hinting at it because he can never show it off. And now that he mentions it, Gohan does remember. Not too long ago, the sky turned dark one day, almost as if someone summoned Shenron. That must have been what it was for. And Gohan's surprised that Piccolo even kept this a secret from him. And Piccolo did plan on showing it off to Gohan, who hasn't been training as much recently. But also, he still was worried about attracting Cell here. But now Cell's here anyways, and he can see that Cell's clearly not a threat anymore. So he transforms, showing off his new great power. He doesn't change much, besides becoming a little yellower, and with his skin smoothing out a lot too. But his power, it's intense. Even Gohan's shocked. And Cell finds this pretty amusing. So Piccolo was that worried about Cell showing up again, huh? By focus on Gohan, he also lost focus on Piccolo. It seems Piccolo's even stronger than him too. And Gohan can't believe this either. Now with the Super Saiyan God form, Gohan is the strongest again. But Piccolo was actually the strongest the entire time and he didn't even realize it. And now that Piccolo doesn't need to keep this form a secret anymore, he could use this fully in his training. And it impresses Beerus as well. The Namekian seems way stronger than he thought, and he probably shouldn't have underestimated him. This planet is really interesting. He will have to return someday. So, Beerus ends up leaving, glad to finally get what he wanted, finding the Super Saiyan God, as well as getting a lot of great food along the way. But Cell doesn't leave immediately, nor does Boo because he's still eating a lot of the food over there. And Cell's decided it. You know what? He's gonna stay on this planet. It does seem more fun to be at, and even though he's not welcomed by everybody here, he'll figure out something. He gets why no one trusts him, and he honestly doesn't need that trust. Although maybe it'll ease their minds to know that they can trust Cell, and the best way to do that is by living here and not causing any trouble. at least in Cell's eyes. He's gonna stay on Earth. But he does have to be kind of low-key because everybody's terrified of him. And not just our main group here, I mean everybody on Earth, because they know who Cell is. No one knows what to really feel about this. But they trust in Gohan and Piccolo's power, as well as Vegeta's too, because he hasn't been slacking either. That Boo guy is strange, but from what they could tell, he's pure of heart anyway, so he's probably not too big of a concern. And it's not like they could really do anything against Cell either. Really, the only people who can are Gohan and Piccolo. And they decide to give it a chance. If there is an issue, they will be able to defeat Cell. It's not going to be an easy process for everybody to trust Cell. He's way better than before, but he's definitely not really a good guy. He's incredibly selfish still, and very egotistical. He really just does whatever he wants. But he's a lot more reserved than before. He and Boo will find somewhere in the wilderness, far away from a lot of society because they're not going to be accepted there. Cell will be easily recognized, and Boo doesn't really look too intimidating, but he's clearly an alien. This will be for the better. The two of them fly off and start to survey land. Cell enjoyed building his arena, so he'll have fun building a house, especially with Boo. Although, while they start looking for a place to live, Cell does think Boo might actually want to go into the city at points just to get food for himself. Cell doesn't necessarily need all that much. As part Namekian, he can actually just survive on water, but he knows Boo's going to want to get some food. Boo might need a more human-like appearance. Actually, something more handsome like Cell himself. Boo's a little bit confused on what he means, but Cell explains, and then Boo nods his head. Oh yeah, he could be handsome like Cell. He then grabs onto his face with both hands and then starts stretching it out, which is a bit gross for Cell to watch, but Boo starts morphing his body, trying to imitate Cell's face and build, as well as the humans that he encountered before. Cell really just wanted him to change his head, but Boo changes literally everything. He still has a giant antenna, and he is pink, but he has a much more human-like face now. Boo's antenna now hangs off his head like a tail. It's grown a lot longer than before, which Cell assumes is due to his power somehow. And now he has a more human-like face, and he gave himself a very aesthetically pleasing body, to say the least. He took the handsome part a little bit too seriously, but he still is missing something. So Cell gives him a clothes beat. He doesn't really have a fashion sense, but he decides to give Boo a pretty simple outfit, one that mirrors the warriors that he respects most, Son Goku and Son Gohan. And from this, a brand new Boo is born. Although really it's just his appearance that's changed. This Boo will be able to blend more into the general public, now that his face is a lot more human-like. Complete with the chin and nose too. And it's time for them to embark on their new lives. Although, Cell starts to feel a strange sensation within him. At first it's pretty subtle, but over the next few days, he feels it more and more as he starts training a bit. It's like a sensation of power, but he can't really put a finger on what it is. And then one day he senses something strange. He senses a new energy pop up on Earth. He teleports over to it, and all he sees is just Gohan standing there, training with Piccolo, now in his Super Saiyan God form. And Cell's a little bit confused. He sensed a brand new power, but why did it bring him to Gohan? He teleported right to it. And Gohan questions that. Cell sensed him? Like, his godly ki? He's not supposed to be able to sense that, is he? Now that Gohan mentions it, the ki that he sensed felt very different to any type of ki he sensed before. Not in the sense that it was unfamiliar, but in the sense that it didn't feel like normal ki at all. But this just confirms it. He can sense godly ki now. He has no clue as to why. And no one could really theorize, but there is a reason he was able to unlock this. Boo's split didn't happen like normally, so instead of his godly power all being destroyed with evil Boo, some of that godly ki remains in the good Boo that's still alive, although it's not nearly as much. But the essence of the Grand Supreme Kai and the South Supreme Kai are still there, even if it's very minute. And Cell's been spending so much time around Boo. He's been with him for years, training with him incredibly often. This led to Cell picking up on very trace amounts of godly ki, without even realizing it. And he was never able to access it. He didn't even realize it was there. But now, having been part of the Super Saiyan God ritual, it's almost like it broke something within him, some sort of limiter keeping that back. It tapped into that latent power, just like how he was accidentally able to tap into Frieza's power thanks to what Babidi did. Cell has unlocked a new side of him that he hasn't even known about. And now that Cell's there in front of Gohan, Gohan can actually kind of sense it. It's a very small amount of godly ki, but it is there. He feels Cell's normal presence, but also a different presence within him. This is his first step towards the realm of gods. He can unlock an even greater power that he didn't even realize was there. And that makes Gohan wonder, what else is Cell going to be capable of? What did he learn there out in space? How powerful can he really grow? And more importantly, what is godly ki going to look like with Cell? Can he become a Super Saiyan God as well, or will he just become something completely different? Whatever comes next, they're not sure, but it's going to be truly amazing. And this is where we'll leave off for now. What do you guys think about this part, and what's going to happen next time? Leave your thoughts and suggestions in the comments below. I'd love to see what you guys think. As usual, be sure to drop a like and subscribe if you haven't already, especially if you want to see more parts of the series, or if you want to just help out the channel and see more videos like this one. Anyways, thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all in my next video.